We'll see how this works. So some of the things I'll say in today's story are awkward. Feel free to laugh. Like I've already lived it. You may as well laugh. So last time I told you a story, I told you about the time I was a foreign exchange student in England in college. So I'm going to do part 2 of that story today. So last time I showed you where I went to school, which is right up here in the north. This is London. So the accent you usually hear on TV and movies and stuff, usually the southern accent. Northern accent, whole different beast. So two other main things happened when I was a foreign exchange student that I feel I should share with you. Well, more things, but two that I can share. So one of the things that happened was I did not know before I went to England that I wanted to be a teacher. Some teachers know since they were little. Miss Lessman, and I believe her, she knew since she was 4 she wanted to be a teacher. She used to play teacher. Personally, I used to hate my teachers. I had so many that I didn't like. So it kind of surprised my family when I was like, I'm going to be a teacher. And they're like, didn't you skip a lot of school? I'm like, shh, don't write about that. Like, don't you hate teachers? I'm like, not all of them, just the mean ones. I literally had a teacher once, a math teacher, look straight at my face and said, I don't know how you're this dumb. I really don't. Like, did you just call a student dumb? So I got mad and said, what the F is wrong with you? And there we go. So it surprised my family I wanted to be a teacher. And here's how I got inspired to do it. I told you last time about my Cypriot housemates. One of them had a mother. I assume all of them had mothers, but one of them had a mother that came over to visit. Antigone's mother came to visit. And she said, next I'm going to Texas. She goes, what do I need to know about Texas? You're from America. And I'm like, what do I tell this lovely Cypriot woman about Texas? I'm like, they have a lot of slang down there. And she goes, what is slang? Like different words. And she goes, you will teach me the Texas English. I'm like, I don't know if there is a Texas English. Like, what do I teach her? Like the plural of y'all is all y'all? But I agreed to do it because she was such a nice lady. And I'm like, why not? English college is easy for me. Fine. That became my favorite thing every day. Like when it was time to go teach Antigone's mom, I'd be like you've never seen so much hustle and bounce from a human. One of my favorite things about teaching her was explaining, and this is how I also realized I'm a word nerd. I really loved explaining to her why you either are proud or you aren't. You can't be being proud. Like you're not in the process of. Like super exciting. I also enjoyed teaching her slang. When I called my mother, she go, Mom, I'm going to be a teacher. I was so excited. Like I figured out what I wanted to do if I grew up. My mother's response was, I don't know about that. What do you mean? She's like, don't you hate children? Like, I do not hate children. You got a temper, you're going to punch one and you're going to get fired. So far, hasn't happened yet. You'll know the day I decide to quit this place because I'm going out swinging. That's how you'll know. No. So that's the first thing that happened in England. I figured out what I want to be if I was grown up. The second thing that happened, this one's the awkward part. I did fall in love, which I don't recommend. No, I'm just kidding. I was 20. You don't make the best decisions when you're 20. That's all I can say about that. So he was and is, he's still living. He's from this little tip right here. He's even farther north than the place I was. Oh my goodness. He's from a place called Cumbria. It's spelled Cumbria. So I was like Cumbria? He's like, no, Cumbria. Okay. It's weird that we started dating and then got married because when I first met him, I hated him. I first met him because he was leaning in the breakfast line like this and staring right at me. And I'm not a morning person. I had stumbled into the cafeteria to like get some frosted flakes, like give me food, give me coffee every other night on my way. So he's just staring at me and I go, hey, what the F are you looking at? Very polite. His response was, I was thinking how lovely your skull is. Warning sign. If someone tries to pick you up by saying you have a lovely skull, be wary. One weird thing about the in-laws, so he's from Cumbria, like I said. This town was founded by pirates. Literally. He's from a pirate town. So I find it kind of funny when his mother would be kind of looking down on me. When she found out I grew up in a trailer, oh my God. She was like, so your parents are poor? Like, yeah, they're poor. Why? Like, A lot of reasons. Like, who asked that on a first meeting? Like, why are your parents poor? They both have addictions and mental health issues. Oh, like the heroin. I'm like, the heroin? Like, what the? I also had an even, I still chuckle when I think about that. I also had an even harder time with their accent. The accent from this part of Northern England was tough enough. The Cumbria one, first time I had supper at his house, his mother went, "Look, I baked a goose, lovely jubbly." I'm like, is that a word? She goes, "Yeah, lovely jubbly. It means wonderful supper." And I'm like, cool. Sounds like Dr. Seuss, but all right. Most of my people are from like this part of Ireland. I didn't know until I went over to England how much prejudice there is against the Irish. Like, I knew intellectually, but I hadn't personally experienced it. This was the first time I experienced it. My in-laws, they would give me no end of crap about being Irish. They would say things like, "Well, you're Irish, so it'll take you a minute." Like, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna hurt all of you. Like, "Oh, are your parents drunk a lot? I mean, you're Irish." They made me sound like a leprechaun. Like, I was just walking around all day like, "Oh, you should show, you should show you. It's so great to be Irish." Like, terrible. Um, so I don't recommend falling in love, but if you do fall in love, someone from another country works out well in this, and this is how I'll end this story. When we got divorced, he decided he was going to move back to England, which I get. You want to go home. He currently still lives with his mom. So he's living the British dream. He gets to live with his mom forever and do God only knows what. In the meantime, I'm not bitter about England, nor am I really bitter about that. That was in the past. I've met quite a few people who still continue to be really bitter about their divorce, which makes me question, like, get over it. That was like, move on. It was a mistake. Move on. So there you go. That's the time I went to England, and that's why I enjoy doing English accents so much. So I'm going to stop this thing and not trip over the garbage can. While you're waiting for me to switch over, can you folks open up week 3 on Schoology, please? Your handout specifically.